With the men's ice hockey tournament at the 2022 Winter Olympic Games wrapping up yesterday, let's go over not the gold medal game, not the silver medal team, but somebody on the bronze medal team that has shown off so well that his name, which is only a 17-year-old name, could be seen as one of the top names taken at the 2022 NHL entry draft. Why I Want is back, and in this video we're going over the most talked about prospect in the last 48 hours. Let's go over to Slovakia and take a look at Juraj Slafkovsky. Now, if you've been paying attention to anything going on Olympic Games, you might know who exactly Slafkovsky is. He is, indeed, as we noted, a 17-year-old player for the Slovak team. And you take a look at what he has done over the past, not just few weeks here in Beijing, but throughout his entire campaign this season as a whole, and you really start to think about where this guy could go in the 2022 draft, and his entire ceiling, which, in my opinion, is nothing short of spectacular. Who is Slafkovsky over here? He is a 17-year-old player. 2004 is the birth date, born in Slovakia, and he's 6'4", 218, so already he's a big guy for a left-wing 17-year-old player. Take a look at the consolidated rankings over here. He's ranked 6th overall if you average everything out. He's ranked 8th by elite prospects and future considerations. Bob McKenzie has him at number 5. McKean's has him at number 7, as well as Craig Button. He's the second-ranked European skater behind Joakim Kemell. Sportsnet has him at 4. Recruit Scouting at 8. Dauber has him at 14, Draft Prospects has him at 7, Smart Scouting at 7 as well, the Puck Authority has him at number 6. So, save the Dauber Prospects report that has him at number 14, he is pretty much a consistent top 10 ranked player, with some scouting outlets having him as high as number 4. Now, Cam Robinson said this yesterday, but the way Slafkovsky played at the Olympic Games, quite literally the biggest stage in the world, probably is going to go out there and force some of these outlets to push him up a little bit higher on their own draft rankings. Now, before we go over that, I will say this right off the bat. The Olympic Games this year, not great. Like, everybody knows that the teams that were assembled are definitely not the best versions of these teams that could have existed. I think Scouching made this point on one of his Scouching lives, but like, one of the best players in the Olympic Games in 2018, aside from Kirill Kaprizov, who was an absolute monster, was like Dominik Kahun, and you have all the other guys that showed up and stepped up to play as well, and none of those guys, aside from Kaprizov, of course, are bona fide NHL stars today. Dominik Kahun is a replacement level player, and as a result, it's easy to conclude that the 2018 Olympics in Pyeongchang were not really the most, beefy when it comes to NHL caliber talent. Regardless, though, Slafkovsky went out there and played in the Olympic Games this season for Team Slovakia, forced them into winning a bronze medal yesterday morning. And as a result, you saw the celebrations, you saw the team go out there and cheer, you saw the kids in practice go out there and celebrate like crazy too. Fantastic moment for Team Slovakia and the country as a whole. But Juraj Slafkovsky was a big part as to why they were able to go out there and win. In 7 Olympic Games, I guess? 7 games played, he had 7 goals, 0 assists, he led the entire tournament in points, and he led the entire tournament in goals. Now, sure, the point per game number is not actually his title. Sakari Manninen, Tambellini, and Hartikainen all had themselves a higher points per game than Slafkovsky, not to mention Sean Farrell as well for Team USA, but Slafkovsky still was in a tie for first in the league or first in the tournament in points, and he was the top goal guy unanimously. Here's a tweet from Cam Robinson that kind of sums up how well Slafkovsky's performance was in this year's Olympic Games. He's broken the record for most goals scored by a U18 player in the Olympic Games history. That goal mark is enough to be number 1, and the 7 points he has ties Eddie Olczyk for most amongst U18s in the Olympic game history as well. Now again, this year's Olympic Games was not really the best when it comes to the quality of competition, but still, Juraj Slafkovsky is literally the best 17-year-old to ever play at the Olympic Games in men's ice hockey of all time. And you take a look at what he did in this tournament that made that happen? Well, it's pretty easy to see why. Slafkovsky scored himself several goals this tournament with absolute just banger wrist shots. He takes the puck in the face-off circle, grips it, and rips it. He unleashes a powerful wrister towards the goal. He scored other goals too, where he's tipping him out in front. Big ones where he's getting rebounds. He scored himself a ton of goals, and 2 goals in the bronze medal game as well is good enough to put him up to that 7-goal and 7-game marker. Now, the reason he was even included on this team is because, at 17 years old, he was already one of the better Slovak players to play the game. This season for TPS Turku in the U20 league, he got 18 points in 11 games played. In the regular Liga, though, he scored 4 points in 21 games. Of course, he's 17 years old playing in the Finnish Liga. They're not going to go out there and give him a big opportunity right off the bat. But he still displays a mature level of gameplay in that hockey league that has allowed him to consistently play and actually be a part of that organization. Playing for TPS as well as for the Slovak team at the Olympics, even when he's not going out there and scoring some pretty great goals, he's battling in front of the net, he's battling on the boards, he's swiping at the puck, and he's shown off his great hands in tight. He's an absolute dangler when he wants to be. He protects the puck really well in the offensive zone with his long range and great body placement. He's 6'4" for crying out loud. He can also spin around with the puck and protect it with one hand, which makes him a very potent offensive possession player when he has the puck in the zone. He's always got his head up, looking for open space and looking for teammates, and he's not afraid to draw defenders close in towards him to make even more space for the players he's passing the puck to. His offensive awareness is just really polished, and I think in the Finnish Liga it's a lot more evident to see just his hockey brain going to work and seeing him try to put all the cogs into place. Now, the problem with Slafkovsky right now is that he's not really the best skater. He's not too fast, he's not too agile out there, but when it comes to moving around in the offensive zone with and without the puck, it's his positioning and how he uses his strength that proves him to be super successful in the offensive zone to showcase those passing skills and those dangling skills in tight. Not to mention his really heavy wrist shot. He probably needs to start using that a little bit more in regular league play, but at the Olympics he went out there with 7 goals, so what am I going to go out there and complain about? We talked about those hands. He's not afraid to use those dangling skills in tight, right in front of a goaltender in order to roof the puck on an open side. He's done that quite a few times as well, especially in the Olympic Games. But his main bread and butter, aside from the goals that he scored here at the Olympics, is playmaking. He moves the puck very well under pressure, and as I said, he's really good at drawing players towards him before sending the puck over to an open side. And his awareness when he doesn't have the puck in the offensive zone, he knows where to be. He finds himself in good scoring areas, he finds himself in good offensive cycling areas, which allow him to make pretty good wrist shots on goal, or extra passes that need to be made in order to open up angles towards the net. He's a very good offensive mind on a big frame that's sort of limited by his mobility and skating, but the sky's the limit as to where this guy goes as long as he's able to work on that skating. His defensive awareness is also pretty great. In his own end, he knows which lanes he needs to cover and when. He also likes to direct traffic for his teammates, so you can see him in the defensive zone yelling at his teammates, okay, pointing, okay, this guy go up there, go down there, go block this passing lane on the other side. He directs traffic, he knows what he needs to do, and he also commits when he needs to and not when he can, which I think is a pretty good quality because you see a lot of defenders or a lot of players in the defensive zone just go super haywire, Tyler Mott style, where they're always hounding on opposition. Not to say that that's bad in particular, but Slafkovsky doesn't waste any energy in the defensive zone. He lets the opponent go around him if they want. He lets them cycle it around the boards and everything. And then when he has an opportunity to swipe at it, he'll go out there and try. He's not going to force it like a lot of other players tend to do, but this sort of laid-back, okay, I'll bite when you bite strategy does kind of bite him in the behind sometimes, so there can be some improvements that can be made. Consistently being aware of which check is your own, proper timing and everything. There are some improvements to be made. He's only 17 years old, but Slafkovsky at the end of the day is a guy that in my opinion could become a very bona fide top 6 power forward at the NHL level should he really max out on his mobility and keep trending upwards in everything else. I think it was Cam Robinson who went out there and said that if you take away the skating, Slafkovsky is like a discount Rick Nash, and Nash was pretty gosh darn good if I do say so myself. So Any Slovaks out there, please talk to me in the comments. What do you think about yesterday's performance at the Olympic Games, beating out Team Sweden 4-0 for the bronze medal, and Slafkovsky going out there and getting himself 2 goals in the process. You guys got your first ever Olympic medal in history, and it was off the back of a 2-goal night from this young prospect over here that we're talking about. Where do you see him going in the 2022 NHL entry draft? If you're a fan of any NHL team, do you want your team to get this guy, assuming you're even in the draft conversation in the first place? Montreal, Seattle, New Jersey, Vancouver maybe? Talk to me in the comments. What do you think? How is Slafkovsky going to project in your opinion? And do you want him on your hockey team? I hope you enjoyed this Juraj Slafkovsky, and bye.